Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Audrey SUPIT from Department of Nutrition, Semarang Politeknik. On this occasion, I will discuss about nutritional intervention promote healthy diets in adolescents. Before we know more about the title, I will give you a little explanation first. Let's get started. The issue of global health is currently a concern of the international community because it is a health problem that crosses national borders. Many adolescents in the world have health problems due to unhealthy diet, inactivity, smoking, and various environmental factors accelerate the molecular and cellular damage associated with aging. Thus, the need for intervention to promote healthy eating in order to make a potential strong contribution to primary prevention non-communicable disease. A healthy diet during childhood and adolescence promote optimal health, growth, and cognitive development of children and adolescents, and can contribute to prevention of chronic disease later in life. Evidence suggests that eating habits are adopted early in life to some extent into adulthood. While the transition from childhood to adolescence is often associated with change in unhealthy eating patterns. Therefore, it is important to establish healthy eating behavior early on, and specifically focus on the transition from childhood to adolescence. So, I will discuss about nutritional intervention promote healthy diet in adolescence. This discussion includes four main sections. The first is the definition of adolescence. The second is the definition of a healthy diet. The third, recommendation for a healthy diet. And the last is the health effects of unhealthy diet. Before further discussion, it is important to know the definition of adolescence. The term adolescence comes from the Latin word adolescence. The noun is adolescenta, which means teenager, which means to grow into an adult. Adolescence means gradually toward maturity physically, intellectually, psychologically, and social and emotionally. This implies the general nature, namely that growth does not move from one phase to another suddenly, but that growth takes place gradually. According to Sawarno, there are three stages of adolescent development in the process of adjustment to adulthood. First, early adolescence. A teenager at this stage is aged 10 to 12 years old. Second, middle adolescence. This stage is 13 to 15 years old. And the last, late adolescence. This stage is 16 and 19 years old. Adolescence is a transitional period between the life of children and the period of adult life, which is characterized by biological and psychological growth and development. Biological, it is characterized by the growth and development of primary sex and secondary sex, while psychological, it is characterized by unstable or erratic attitude and feeling, desire, and emotion. Adolescence is an important time to promote a healthy diet for optimal health, growth, and cognitive development of children and adolescents, and can contribute to prevention of chronic disease in a later life. From this understanding, we can conclude that adolescence is a transitional period between the life of children and the life of adults. In order to understanding more deeply, it is necessary to know the definition of healthy diet. Do you know what the healthy diet? A healthy diet can be defined as a pattern of food intake that has a beneficial effect on health or at least no harmful effect. According to World Health Organization, a healthy diet is a combination of consuming a variety of food ranging from fruits and vegetables, whole grain products, nuts, as well as balanced source and plant and animal protein like meat, fish, egg, and dairy products. This needs to be accompanied by limiting consumption of sugar, salt, trans fat, which are also important to maintain a healthy diet. Thus, it can be concluded that a healthy diet is a pattern of food intake that has a beneficial effect on health. Next, in the discussion about recommendation for a healthy diet. There are various recommendations for a healthy diet. The first, maintain a healthy weight. It is recommended to maintain body weight in a children and adults that reflect a low BMI range. Maintain ideal body weight and avoid weight gain throughout adulthood. According to Asia Pacific BMI, it is called overweight, 25 to 29.9 kg per square meter, with obesity 30 kg per square meter. Secondly, eat foods rich in whole grain, vegetable, fruit, and whole grain. Consumption of foods containing at least 30 grams of fiber. Consumption of food sources from direct planting. Plant from food fruit and at least 5 serving or 500 grams per day, and avoid consumption of foods high in starchy content. Third, limiting consumption of fast food, food processed, rich in flour, high in sugar, and avoid a Western type diet. Fourth, limit alcohol consumption. Consumption of red meat and processed meat to more than 3 servings per week equivalent. 5. Do not use high-dose supplement. Nutritional needs are suggested through a healthy and proportioned diet. And the last discussion about the health effect of an unhealthy diet. There are health effects of unhealthy diet. Many people tend to associate eating with health these days. The classic root causes of an unhealthy diet are sugar, fat, and salt. And the classic recipe for a healthy diet in terms of fruit and vegetable. Sugar may have adverse health effect has been a recurring theme for decades, with claim that high intake may be associated with an increased risk of conditions as diverse as obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and some cancer. A recent meta-analysis commissioned by World Health Organization and following coherence guidelines conclude that its trial of adults on an at-lithium diet. Reduced intake, also called free sugar, was associated with slight weight loss, while increased sugar intake was associated with a comparable weight gain over 10 weeks. Data from meta-analysis further suggests that change in body fatness result from change in energy balance rather than the metabolic consequence of sugar consumption, suggesting that the health risk of excessive sugar consumption lie primarily in an increased risk of being overweight rather than having a direct impact on chronic disease rate. A recent current review of the health effect of fat suggestion a small but potentially significant reduction in cardiovascular risk with slightly lower body weight when people low risk and high risk population group replace saturated fat with unsaturated fat, although the type of the ideal unsaturation remain unclear, and conclude that reducing total fat intake did not decrease cardiovascular risk. The current review of the health benefits of reduced salt was even more cautious and concluded that reducing the amount of salt has no clear benefit in terms of reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Although the author suggests that the food industry reformulation of processed food with less salt may have a beneficial effect over to encourage residents to use less salt on the table and in home cooking. Modest effects have also been reported on the health protective effect on the cornerstone of a healthy diet, fruit and vegetable consumption. In a meta-analysis of 10 randomized control trials, or 6 examined fruit provision and 4 trial examining dietary advice to increase fruit and vegetable intake. The court can review well to find evidence of a reduced risk of cardiovascular event or beneficial effect on blood pressure and lipid level in 1 year, in indicating no direct health benefit when people eat more fruit and vegetables. So, what do we know now? In conclusion, adolescence is an important period to promote a healthy diet in order to have optimal health, growth, and cognitive development of children and adolescents, and can contribute to prevention chronic disease in later life. Thus, there is a need for intervention to promote healthy eating. A healthy diet is a pattern of food intake that has a beneficial effect on health. There are various healthy diet recommendations that are easy to do. This is the reference. So many presentation for me, hopefully useful. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.